It's gonna be awkward.
What up?
Bada bada bing.
Welcome back, everybody.
What's up?
Welcome back to people who are returning, and welcome to the new.
If you're new or a visitor, welcome.
Yeah, if you are new and you enjoy, make sure you like and subscribe.
Yeah. Or if you're
Share
just
with
checking
a
us out and you're just visiting, you're just browsing, enjoy your time. If you have any questions, feel free to ask.
Yeah,
We're here right here if you need us.
yeah. Well, we've had an interesting year this year. Personally, I mean, like obviously 2020 has been a fucking weird year, but like just us with this, the way that we're doing this show, it's a lot less like on the day, time, release date. Like we've had a couple of weird technical difficulties this go around.
Yeah, it's been weird with the export.
That's been like it's a technical difficulty that's prevented us from being able to like export the video to be able to upload it.
Yeah. And also too, we've just been like back and forth going from here in California for our work. We had to go over there and kind of help an office move into a bigger space. They've got more of a team now out there, so we helped them out with that. So we've been going back and forth and doing the damn thing with that. So
yeah, our little California operation is growing.
So yeah, but we had to, we brought the thing, but it just a lot of issues on the tech side of it. So we're trying to get back to a normal weekly schedule, and hopefully
we might even be a week ahead right now. I mean, with how we're doing it.
Yeah, because we're dropping tomorrow. Well, we're going to probably end up being somewhat ahead or back to schedule at least. So,
which will be nice, dude, because having that week of buffer is just a happy little thing. I'll say this, dude. We've got a fun topic this week.
Yeah, well, real quick, do you want to say we did pick up some GoPros? So you picked up a Rockstar and we picked up some GoPros, and horns are out. We're just going to be doing some more cool content. So like we'll be doing personal content, and then we'll also be doing like more stuff for this, just not behind the scenes, but just, living the life kind of stuff.
It's one of those things I've wanted one for a long time, and Shay got it for me as a gift. And I was showing Z and telling him like all this stuff that you could do with it, like the new ones especially. And
he just kept selling it down my throat,
dude. Yeah, and then we just got the boat, so now we're gonna be out and actually doing stuff, and
yeah,
it's really convenient for shooting like little quick family videos and stuff like that too. So that's cool.
Yeah, for you, I'm still trying to find my full need for it, but if I start doing like vloggy type of content, I just still don't feel like I'm that guy yet. So
I think it'll depend, dude. Like I think that I
just have a hard time having a camera in front of my face, be like, all right guys, and everyone else around you's like, the fuck is this guy doing?
Yeah, I think that there's a subtle, like there's got to be a way to do it that's you can get away with doing a vlog without being a vloggy type guy,
right?
Just like, I don't know.
Anyways,
the wakeboarding community does a pretty good job with vlogs where it like doesn't feel like you're watching a.
The problem is if anyone wants to see me, like, oh, cool, yeah, you want to come see me do a backflip behind a boat?
Well, yeah, I mean, like,
so I mean, they got that. I'm gonna be like, hey, check out our podcast, talk some shit.
Well, it's not like, yeah, it's.
But anyways,
yeah. Anywho, what are we getting into this week?
This week, we decided to get into the reason or reasons why we are not fans of country music. And I'll put a little asterisk there. I'll say more so newer country music. Let's draw the line here at like 2013, 14. 2014 is maybe when it really started transitioning into that southern pop, but so let's say 2013. No, 14, excuse me, 2014. But I know we were fans in 2013 and the early 2010s.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this week is going to be all about the reasons why we are not fans of the genre, where it's at, where we think it's headed, what we've thought about it over time. I guess we could say I could give some points as how I even became a fan of it.
Well, here's what I'll say, dude, is that I think right off the bat, I think it's unfair for us to say we don't like country music, because it's not that we don't like country music, it's just that we don't like the current state of it.
That's why I threw out the asterisk, is that we'll cut it off at that time.
It's sort of like hip hop, dude. Like for me, I'm not a huge fan of today's hip hop, but that doesn't mean that I'm not a fan of hip hop.
I get you. No, I know you got a soft spot for the older.
Yeah, I do, but
for the older country.
I'm just trying to keep it real and keep it consistent.
Yeah, I got you.
So that's all I wanted to get out there as a disclaimer.
You got to keep it funky fresh.
Yes.
Country doesn't. That's my problem with it.
So country, we'll just give a quick little origin overview, sort of stuff like this. And it's just coming from the internet. You know, I'm not making it up or anything, but it basically goes back to southern U.S. and southwestern U.S. and immigrants to the southern Appalachian Mountains of the southeastern U.S. brought folk music and instruments of Africa, Europe, and Mediterranean for nearly 300 years, and basically just gets into more of the fucking places. But the first generation of country music started in 1920s. This is where we can really start to pick up here, is in the 20s. And basically the only notable thing to come out of there was the Carter family. It was kind of starting, and that was the family.
So maybe this is why all the reasons why we love country.
Oh,
or the history of country.
God, dude, I don't know where we're going with it, but
I mean, all right, well, okay, so it's got history and it's got some roots.
It basically
just summarize.
Yeah, it basically got it started in the 20s, you know. And I think that the thing that makes country music so appealing in its best form is that it's simple and it tells a story. You know, like there's a quote that says, "Country music is just 3 chords and the truth."
Yeah, definitely gone away from that a little bit, but yeah, I got you.
And yeah, well, now it's so far gone. But like, if you look back at some Johnny Cash music, there's
it's real simple progressions. But my thing with this is the blues also started. I don't know when exactly it started, but I know, you know, you had Robert Johnson and Blind Blake. Those guys, they were like in the 1920s and stuff like that. And I'm sure it started a little bit earlier, but it's a similar kind of thing. Just I feel like it always had a little bit more of an emphasis on guitar, and it just seemed a little. There's definitely a difference between blues and country, but it's that same kind of simplicity with not a lot of surrounding instruments. It's not like jazz where they really started to take off and have these huge bands. It was just, you know, really didn't even have a drummer early in the days. It was just a guy with a guitar and a voice telling a story. And that's what both of those genres are very similar, but they're very different, is my point that I want to bring up. But I always sided more on the blues side.
Yeah, personally. I mean, if you go to the root of the genre, I'm definitely more of a blues fan too. And like if you go back all the way to the 20s, definitely more blues than I am country.
Yeah.
It's when like you get into like I'm not really even a country fan until at least the 50s. Probably.
Well, I think what we could say about, as we're talking about older country, and we can just kind of keep it flowing, but I think for them is where it did start, and like what you were saying right there is they were telling a story, and there was something really authentic and genuine about it. Um, I think that's what's to be said more so about older country is that it had such an emphasis on the story, and they did it in a musical way to where it had nice melodies or nice kind of gospel-y sounding. You almost felt like a little slice of heaven maybe.
Right.
Or like, I don't know. I mean, I think the storytelling, maybe that's me speaking more on the blues side, but I do know about that. I've not really listened to 20s country, but
yeah, to be honest, I haven't put in a whole ton of.
But if we go up to the 40s, though, that's when Hank Williams Sr. started, right? 40s?
He was 50s.
50s? Okay, so we could probably start there because that'd be the earliest I've heard.
Well, what I want to say about the earlier times, though, quick, is that the Grand Ole Opry was built and started in those early times, and that's always been like a big deal throughout the whole thing.
Yeah.
And I think that's cool to have just like Madison Square Garden, how the MSG is
what it is.
The fucking MSG of country music is Grand Ole Opry. And I think that's just cool to have a place like that for your...
Like a mecca.
A mecca, yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I think that's cool from that early time. But then, yeah, you go into the hillbilly boogie eras and like the boogie woogie eras, and there was like a lot of piano mixed with banjos and different kinds of stuff like that. But then, like you're saying here, Hank Williams was a sort of a legend in the country music space.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. I mean, he wrote a lot of early day stuff, and I wouldn't say I'm a huge fan in particular.
Well, here are some names of people that he's influenced. So this is a helpful person for the history of music. He influenced Elvis, Johnny Cash, Chuck Berry, Jerry Lee Lewis, Bob Dylan, George Jones, Charlie Pride, the Rolling Stones. That was it. But I'm sure a lot of others, but
Yeah.
Those were the main ones. And I mean, just Elvis, Johnny Cash, Chuck Berry, Bob Dylan, and the Rolling Stones. That's legendary company to have inspired.
Yeah. Definitely. And I think, there's a lot of good about, I guess, the early days of it, and it really kind of setting a scene.
That's really the honky tonk era.
Yeah. I like the Johnny Cash because it when they mix with Bob Dylan and you got that folky sound with it, it just blended nice together, I felt. And sorry, I'm not trying to spend too much time on all that we like, because we did say at the beginning as a disclaimer, this is what we don't like about where country music is at.
See, I just
don't want to spend too much time on
there are a
we're
lot
in
of
the
country,
40s.
there are a lot of country music fans. We're not in the 40s. We're just going by different eras. Okay, we got rockabilly, which is the Johnny Cash era.
Well, rockabilly is not really country. It's more like rock.
It's like that was a
rock country.
Johnny Cash was a big rockabilly guy.
But yeah, I was a huge fan of that. That Bob Dylan blend in the Johnny Cash, and I don't really know.
Ray Charles did some stuff in the 60s with
oh, that's cool.
Some different people. Like, he covered a few Johnny Cash songs, which was cool. And then Johnny Cash covered a few Ray Charles songs.
Yeah, and then you had the real cowboy guys, the real Western guys, like all the highwaymen, like Willie Nelson. I like Willie Nelson. I think he's cool.
Saw him live.
Saw him live. Yeah.
Yeah,
Saw it with our
Merle Haggard.
with our Mimi.
Merle Haggard was, I mean, legend.
Yeah. Merle Haggard, he's cool. The fuck is that? You got the coaster of him. Waylon Jennings, he's cool.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that 80 and
John Denver, dude. Holy shit.
John Denver's good. Take Me Home Country Roads. That'll crank up a stadium.
And then you have and then you get the Southern Rock from the 70s, like when we touched on that, like the 60s and 70s, where you've got Allman Brothers, Marshall Tucker Band, you've got even the Byrds.
Yeah, but they've got a lot more. If you listen to a lot of their stuff, like the Allman Brothers, they're a lot more blues rock than they are country.
All right, the Eagles then.
Fine, yeah.
Dude.
I don't hear much country in the Eagles.
Really?
No.
All right.
Maybe Take It Easy a little bit, but even then, it's just a little slide. It's just a little lick. I was going.
I know how it goes, dude. I just feel like it's like
7 women on my mind.
it's rock music for people that like country.
All right. Well, yeah. All right. Yeah. Everyone's got their thing.
Anyways, then from there, where I started to fall off, dude, to be honest, was when like Garth Brooks.
Well, George Strait's cool. That's 80s. Let's not skip over him. I think he's cool.
He's not the king, but he's cool.
Yeah, he's definitely cool. And I know a lot of people really like George Strait. If it's always people that don't like country but respect country, their favorite's always George Strait. That's their go-to.
I definitely prefer George Strait to Alan Jackson. And I know they're not technically in the same camp, but for some reason I always put them in the same camp.
Yeah. I think you could put Alan Jackson more in a Garth Brooks camp.
See, I put Tim McGraw more in a Garth Brooks camp.
I hear that.
But Tim McGraw,
Toby Keith.
But Tim McGraw's up here, and Garth Brooks is fucking a main reason I don't like country.
Tim McGraw's cool. Blake Shelton's cool. Thing is, I like Garth Brooks at the start, and I think
I like Blake Shelton before he ever started fucking with women. I think, like publicly.
Like,
oh yeah. When he got with Miranda,
that was a lot.
It was a little tick down, and then now that he's with Gwen, it's just even more so, like just softer. And I just am not.
Yeah.
And the ones where it's harder, it feels like he's trying too hard, like he's just in a different part of his life now, and that's fine. But I just can't. I can't evolve with that when.
Yeah, we're. However old we are, and
when my Blake Shelton singing Old Red and fucking when he had the mullet, dude.
Yeah,
that's what I'm talking about. Yeah. And so it's just hard to go from that to being the soft and sweet honeybee. But
yeah, I mean, I went through a phase of really liking. Oh, I've gone through a phase of liking all levels of country. I went through that kind of in high school. For a couple of years, and I'll say this: when the 2000s and like the Brooks and Dunns and like the Garth Brooks and all that, like they were really killing it in the 2000s when all that music was super popular. I hated country as a kid; couldn't stand it.
Same. I used to say my favorite genre was everything but country.
Me too. Like I would listen to classical over country when I was a kid.
Same. And you know what? You know when it switched for me? I don't remember the year exactly. I'm sure you do, but. For me, it was
September 08.
Probably pretty close.
Yeah.
Fucking Big Green Tractor.
Yeah. That was like I think 2009
was the first song. And dude, Jason Aldean could not have gotten on my shit list quicker.
Dude, yeah, like as time went on.
Like,
well, we felt we got sold. We said we got sold a false narrative, and that we
definitely got sold a bill of goods, dude.
We got sold a bill of goods, and you know what happened was I know what happened for us at country. We didn't like it. Now we had a little trendsetter in our life, and it's one of Justin's best friends. And shout out to Keegan. But Keegan was a guy who he was always listening. He was always finding like he wasn't a hipster, but he was always able to like. You and him had a weird way of finding like music, and you would find the more like chitty bang side of music, and he would find like the Rise Against and like the Taking Back Sunday and that kind of like emo skate music. So we were listening to a lot of that for a while, and then all of a sudden,
metally side of it.
yeah, well, the more metally side of it, because he had moved to Texas and he started visiting us every summer. Then all of a sudden he comes in, starts playing Chicken Fried by Zach Brown Band, Big Green Tractor, all these different country songs. Like, dude, nah, country's the shit, man. This is like what everyone's listening to in Texas. It's so cool. And we were like, yeah, I guess it's all right.
There were 3 things, dude, from when Keegan came back. It was Uggs,
Yeah.
Ugg moccasins, country music, and fucking rainbow flip flops.
That's so Dallas.
And like I refuse to be a part of the rainbow sandal cult. They were so, I tried them, they were very uncomfortable for me. But the country thing, I got hooked on, and then it became like a thing where,
Well, we went to
like,
Dallas on a hockey trip shortly after that, and it was on the radio like the entire time. Like that's all they were having on the radio, and I'm like, dude, all right, like some of these songs are really catchy.
this was our first entry into it. Like, we didn't even experience Garth Brooks and all that type
Until
of music
later.
when it was popular. So we really didn't even know any of that was going on or existed.
Well, we're diggers when it comes to music. Like
yeah, but it's always after the fact.
yeah, we'll get the base level of it, and we'll just keep digging and digging and digging and find it, like get older and older and older.
But so we get pretty balls deep in the country for a bit, and we're like, we're super into it from Big Green Tractor basically until
Early Zach Brown Band.
I would yeah, obviously all that, like Chicken Fried and
Who's that other guy? There's so many.
Darius Rucker, dude.
Chris Young.
Basically we were out
Early
with
Chris.
Florida Georgia Line. And
Yeah.
and you started to get
Eric Church, always cool. He's still cool. I would say he's just a cool
dude.
guy.
Churchman is still cool.
Cool guy.
Chris Stapleton is still
Chris
cool.
Stapleton's phenomenal, talented musician. Authentic.
Right, and has stayed.
You hear pain in his voice.
Yeah, you want to know who heard him, and you want to get their number, and you want to go there and give them a piece of your
I want to write him a letter when it's raining.
Yeah.
Fuck whatever you were saying. I want to write a letter when it's raining, and I want to be crying as I'm writing the letter, and I want my tear to be the thing that seals the envelope.
Yeah. But where we got lost and where I got lost was Florida Georgia Line.
Big time, yeah.
And then because I felt like it became less about the music, and it you could start to see it like with the Hunter Hayeses, and
Yes,
the
I
Scotty
remember that.
McCreery,
Yeah,
you know, and they just were so like
corny. I mean,
yeah, they're
corny.
so
It's just
corny.
it.
And
then Jason Aldean started to get corny.
like pretty quick, dude. Right after Big,
He
Green
saw the
Tractor,
opportunity because it was like they
Well,
started
Buckle-
wearing bedazzled jeans.
It looked like fucking Buckle just signed him to a deal and said, "You know what, dude? The whole store is your closet now. Whatever you want. You want the Affliction jeans? Get them. you want
4 leather bracelets
yeah, dude. You want
that
you
are
want
4
leather-
inches thick.
You want 4 leather cuffs? Get them. You want 10 necklaces to wear with your skin tight jeans? Yes.
But they're popped out by the boot, so you know they're boot cut.
yeah, dude. Oh God. Yeah.
The slim fit boot cut.
He wore out his welcome in country music real quick.
Well, it's
And
all
you know
those
what?
award shows because he was just standing up there, dude, and just
And you know what else, dude? And he always had those fucking hats, the real curly hats, dude.
but he had it so low, dude.
Oh, God. Eric Church is the coolest dude of all time.
He's the only guy. He's one of the few people that can wear sunglasses inside.
And he wrote a couple of songs basically calling out like the modern era of country. You know who's
early too.
You know who? Yeah, you know who's on a similar path to Jason Aldean is Luke Bryan. And
I was gonna bring him up.
You know, old Luke Bryan was
pretty good stuff.
I mean, it just was like, yeah, it was.
I was a fan.
It was popping and it was fun and it was cool. But then he like
made you just want to drink on the lake.
He got his persona down, and then he just it felt like he exploited it. Like these guys in particularly country music, once it felt like they got received, then they just like turned it up to 12, and then their fans like stayed on board, but then they fucking turned it up to 12 too. And then it became not about the music, because then
100%.
it became way more
it's
about
this fake lifestyle that it's became way more about a lifestyle that doesn't exist.
Yeah.
It's this fugazi.
Yeah, dude, it just doesn't feel real or authentic, because this lifestyle
you're singing about
like
spring break and you're 42.
Yeah, dude, like, yeah,
dude, grow up, bro. I put it down.
That's funny, dude. Yeah,
I did.
That's where my problem.
Things are going really great for me.
That's where my problem is with country music. Like, you'll never hear Hank Williams sing about spring break.
And like, when did it get so positive? Like, that's not that all music has to be fucking negative, and not like that country music has to be negative, but like blues, for instance. I think blues has gone downhill in a lot of ways too, because people are just trying to play like their influences. They're trying to play like B.B. King, Albert King, Freddie King. I'm just only naming kings, but even, you know, you get to the Jimi Hendrix, and there's a lot of guys in the rock that have done that well. But in the blues, it's not like how it was back for them when they were really playing and singing from the heart. A lot more than now. It's like they're just trying to sing and play like their influences. And not that it's necessarily a bad thing. It just hasn't evolved much. And it's like, it'd be nice to hear the real world problems translate into these genres.
Well, I don't even hear their influences though. That's my
yeah. I mean, you're just like, dude, you're just playing blues licks or like.
Well, no, like the country.
Oh yeah,
like
country.
Staying on topic of what we're saying.
Yeah,
and like they're not even. I can't even tell who they're influenced by in the country space.
I mean, they're influenced by whatever their producers tell them.
No, they're influenced by hip hop and pop.
Yeah.
And whatever's in the radio.
Yeah,
currently.
Bruno Mars, like top 40. They're influenced by top 40.
And that is a dangerous way to make music.
And if they get top 40, they're just going to play the same shit that they just did.
Yeah, when you hear
the title.
When you hear like old Blake Shelton, for example, like if you listen to Old Red, I saw a video of him when he still had the mullet, but it was like he was performing it on a TV show, and it was like one of his first times, you know, performing the song.
Right.
And like you could just tell, dude, that it was a different thing than what you're hearing now. You could hear that like there was influence throughout from Waylon in it. You could hear the influence from Merle.
George Jones is the original of that song, I think.
Yeah, dude. Like there's just so much influence and you could feel the influences, and you could do that. Like the song Red Solo Cup. Like what
are we doing?
What are you doing?
Yeah, I mean, I think certain guys just got bored, and it became so much about just the leisure and party lifestyle. And I think when I really separated from it was I got out of high school. And it was because like in high school, you know, you don't have like any responsibilities, right? You're just always chilling. That's what's fun, dude. You're just listening to like, that's when I really got into Sublime. That's when I really got into like other music that was about like fucking off and just doing high school shit. I had my pump up music by day. Yeah, pump up music by day, country music by night, because that's what like the chill stuff was that everyone was listening to. And rock wasn't really ever making new stuff. Like rock kind of fell off.
It became more of a winter genre and became way more of an alternative thing, like Sweater Weather.
Yeah,
From
like
the
and I'm a huge
Neighborhood.
fan of that actually, that music. And
But it just feels more wintry.
exactly. And summer was super country feeling.
Lumineers.
Yeah, so I really fell off though because you get out of high school and I would like listen to it and I'm like, dude, I gotta work, man. I gotta be grinding right now. I need to be making money, man. And that's when I like went full hip hop because I was like, dude,
Put on that Anderson pack and you fucking
just yeah,
just
that.
go in.
But dude, like a lot of Drake too, like going into it, like with that if you're reading this, it's too late. He started really just about the money, dude, the life. Let's get that paper, son.
Mm-hmm.
And I still listen to a lot of that though in high school and stuff like that. And it was pretty. It's always been really mixed, but that was when I still liked country. But then I just started thinking about it. I'm like, dude, they're just always freaking. I almost said rapping, but they're always singing about just like good times. Like there's no badness except for like when you hear Chris Stapleton. And again, not to keep bringing up that is it needing to be good for it to be, singing about negative shit because it's not true.
Well,
but
it just feels true.
it just feels
it's not
true
it's not the sadness. It's just the authenticity in whatever he's doing.
because they have positive songs too that aren't.
Yeah, but like it just feels like they meant to do it that way. It's not like they created it to make a popular song. And so, it just is, it's lost. But then, like, all right, so fast forward a bit. We get even more. I personally got even more into country. As you were going out of it and you were kind of getting more into hip hop, started getting into hip hop a little bit earlier than me.
Yeah.
And I kind of clung on to the country thing for a little longer. And, like I was still tolerating stuff that was coming out, like the Florida Georgia line. Like I didn't ever listen to it, and I definitely talked shit about it.
You were a
but
big
it
Lady
was-
Antebellum guy though.
dude. I fucking hated Lady Antebellum. Always,
Always,
hated
yeah.
them.
And Rascal Flatts,
and,
we've always hated,
and Rascal Flats, dude. And so, always hated those two, and God, what was I gonna say? Oh, and I started going back even further, and like I got into the '90s and '80s with the Garth Brooks and the Alan Jacksons and the George Straits and the.
So I switched to that for my country. I was like, dude, I'm not listening to new shit as much. I'm gonna listen to like Eric Church, Stapleton, and then that.
Yeah.
Well, no, I didn't start listening to Stapleton yet because he hadn't come out with that album yet. We're still a little early because he hadn't come out with. He was still just songwriting.
There
for
was
people.
still some new stuff that was coming out that was fine, but there was some that was getting over, and so we were just kind of going back.
Lines were starting to get blurred for sure.
And then I was a big Garth Brooks fan. Like I was a big.
Me too.
And Garth Brooks is, if there's a pie chart for my problem with country, he would have the majority of the blame for my problem. And just his whole career, dude, like the way that he's handled himself on and off stage is just like I can't do it. And to have so many people fuck with it and just he's just pulling the wool over so many people's eyes, and it's just
Yeah, he's a weird cat, dude. I mean, he really is. And
none of it seems real.
Yeah,
That's the other thing. Like there's you
it's
get
all
weird,
gimmick.
yeah, everything seems like it's a sales gimmick, and he's doing it
Like if he wasn't doing country, did you say that he'd be running like a Ford dealership or something?
yeah,
Did you say that?
yeah, he'd be running something, dude, some sort of a
thought that, or if you
dealership.
said that, you said you see him running a dealership.
I do, and he just would be like doing whatever he could to get the sales, and it works. He's made the most money, I think, out of any other country person.
Which is weird because he doesn't do any streaming, but maybe that's his shtick. You know,
Well,
he's like,
he's
well,
got-
you get really famous, you only sell to Walmart.
So much money from Walmart probably, but anyways, I had no idea, dude, that he was moonlighting as a weird emo
Chris Gaines.
guy by the name of Chris Gaines, and it wasn't until Family Guy said something about it in an episode, and I'm like, who
You got to
the
put like 2 and 2
fuck?
together.
And I googled Chris Gaines, and I see this weird gothic emo guy.
Yeah, it really set me wrong.
And there's nothing wrong with being that dude, because like I love Fall Out Boy and was always a big like emo rock fan, but this is
No, it's not them. It's if you're trying to be that and you're not that.
yeah, this is where you're singing
Now you're being disrespectful.
you're singing about having friends in low places, and come to find out, dude, you are that friend in the low place.
Like if you're not singing Teenagers by My Chemical Romance and you
Yeah.
dress like that, get the fuck out.
yeah,
And you ride in on a skateboard, a Plan B skateboard, get out.
or a girl skateboard,
Or a girl or DGK even.
definitely a girl, or an Enjoy.
Yeah,
But anyways, dude,
not an
so
element, but
I just had a problem. I had a real problem with the Chris Gaines shtick, and then everything that he's done since then. Like he cheated on his wife with Trisha Yearwood,
oh yeah.
you know, and that's just been nothing but a messy situation. And I just don't fuck with it, dude.
Yeah, I
He
mean,
broke my heart, dude. He really did, because he made me feel stupid for liking him.
yeah.
And that's honestly how I feel about a few country people.
Jason Aldean.
Jason Aldean, Luke Bryan, and fucking Garth Brooks, dude. And those are the three,
Biggest names.
not the like
Some of them. You know who. If you're gonna switch and you do that, you know who set a great example and they let them all down was Johnny Cash. He was like, you know what, dude, I'm out of ideas for my own stuff. I'm gonna cover 9 Inch fucking Nails and
Yeah.
make it more of a hit, and have their singer say, yeah, it's better. Sorry,
Yeah. Well, and Trent's no punk either from 9 Inch Nails.
no.
Trent's no punk. So I think that there's a lot to be learned from other generations of country, but
For sure.
the collaborations with Ludacris are cool too, I guess.
Yeah.
Whatever, but
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing, but like, it's okay to be like, I think it's okay to have Southern pop, like we've talked about long before on the podcast. I think that's where that term was coined. If I'd never heard it before until we had mentioned it on the podcast, but I think it would be okay for that to be a thing. I mean, it's let Chris Stapleton and country and all that like have like the same way you don't call Jimi Hendrix a blues musician. You call him a fucking he's a class, or he's a rock player.
he's
So
a guitar hero. The thing I think though that it's not just like country's getting the brunt of this this ass whooping here from us, but really
it's been not that much of an ass. I thought it was gonna be more of an ass whooping.
well, but
I came ready for an ass whooping, and
dude, it's every genre as we think about it though. Like every problem that I have with country, I have with every other genre of music today.
yeah, but the difference is those other genres actually fell off on the charts, and country just run with it, and we're just making
That's
it the
true.
standard.
That's true.
Name the
And
most famous.
I
I
don't
guess you got the
feel-
Imagine Dragons. They're the most famous rock.
I
group,
don't
and
feel
they're definitely not rock,
stupid
but-
for liking any of anybody else. You know, like
Yeah, because like rock slowly just started to kind of fizzle off. Like to me, I mean, I'm gonna be super biased here, but like, I think rock really fell off after Frusciante left the Chili Peppers. 2007 is when it kind of, because it just wasn't. There was still a lot of groups in the early 2000s. You had like Franz Ferdinand, Green Day.
there's a lot of argument as to it being more of a technical problem more so than a member leaving a band issue for a whole genre. Although I know you do love the Red Hot Chili Peppers a lot. I just think
Well,
that,
no, I'm saying because they took a lot of time off. I was just saying when that happened. I'm not saying that caused it, but I'm saying that like I didn't say he fucking. I'm just saying around that time when he left, it's just a coincidence. You look into it. I'm just kidding. You know, the thing is ethics. Music, no. It did though. It did change because that was the rise of Lil Wayne because he dropped the Carter 3. And you had Kevin Rudolph with Let It Rock and then did it with Lil Wayne. And then Eminem was doing, I guess he still kind of had Slim Shady. Nah, he was kind of actually going kind of crazy during those times. He had Kanye really bursting off the scene because he dropped Graduation and Late Registration 2000, whatever.
Looping that went into the creation of rock and country music where there wasn't always before.
Yeah, well, exactly.
Like as
quantizing.
As far as drums tracks and stuff like that, and being
it's a lot of purist problem with Nickelback.
What quantization is of like a beat or drums is when it's perfect. It's when a machine literally matches
up with every measure.
Exactly. Every time it's on beat and it's on point. And you'd think that would be the ideal sound because it's perfect, but that's what Nickelback's been doing, and people hate Nickelback for it.
And a lot of new rock. And
versus if you listen to Led Zeppelin and John Bonham, and if you look at the sound waves of the drummer for Led Zeppelin, John Bonham, versus the quantization of a drum track of the same exact song, it's damn close. But it's not perfect with John Bonham, but it sounds so different.
Yeah, it really does. It makes a huge difference. But again, though, kind of going further to my point with the 2007 thing, is it really started to kind of take off into a different direction because you had groups like Nickelback that were Nickelback and Creed who were kind of diluting the value because we just lost Kurt, Alice in Chains, and this post-grunge. I mean, the Foo Fighters were killing it, and they're still killing it. In terms of like touring and stuff like that, and they're a great band. But I think it really, really started to change, dude. I'll say it till the day I die. After Danny California dropped, I feel like rock music has changed ever since. Once the Chili Peppers weren't touring like the Chili Peppers anymore.
What genre do you have Gary Clark Jr. in?
Rock. Alternative rock
and Black Keys. I think that
Black
genre,
Keys,
that
alternative
genre is
rock,
probably the best out of the modern like new music. You've got
alternative rock for sure,
and even the Foo Fighters I would throw in that camp too.
You could throw that kind of like that. It's like that Cali comedy movie music too, to where you got like the Strokes,
right,
and all that. But back on topic, with the country, I don't know how the fuck we started talking about that.
Well, I just was saying that the problem isn't, it seems like it's not just with country, it's that like,
oh yeah,
I'm personally having
the charts, but the country's on the charts though, and the rock isn't.
Okay, I know.
Hey, dude, well, fuck. I'm just trying to get us back where we were.
Okay.
You nut.
I was just saying that, like, that the problem that I have with country is a similar problem with all the other genres. But yeah, like you said, now it's like it's so popular to like country music that's the standard, and like I just don't understand, I guess, why.
It's like this. You go to a party, like, you like drinking? You're like, yeah. And they're like, cool. You like country? Is that all you got? Like, why is that being asked? And like, and you see it on dating apps too. It's like country music or nothing. And you're like, what the fuck? Like,
I just couldn't imagine ever being like,
no one's ever done that with any other genre of music to where they're like, but it's kind of what we're seeing with everything right now. You know, people are so into whatever. It's become political. Everyone's so into picking a side. No one can just enjoy what the world's given us.
You might as well just be not wearing a mask. You know what I mean? But it's a strange time, dude, where we just want to politicize everything because people are fanatics with politics right now. It's so strange to me.
It is strange.
There's like so much time and energy that's spent on it. And it gets dripped out into, like, it bleeds out into every part of life to where we can't listen to music or be a part of music without having it define who a person is politically. And I guess that's always been an issue, you know, like if you like certain types of music, you know, like if you were a hippie during the 60s and you liked hippie music, good chances people were going to think that you were.
So here's another problem.
Certain type of person.
But those songs, though, and a lot of music has been political in some way, shape, or form.
That's true, dude.
But
that's fair.
But the new country music isn't political. But the fucking listeners are making it political.
That's a good point. That's a very good point.
But yet people listen to Rage Against the Machine, hardcore conservatives, and they're just now getting up in arms about the music being political.
That's a very good point because it is. Yeah.
People make things about what they want to make it about.
The music in the 60s was very political and it was very controversial, a lot of the lyrics. Today's lyrics in country music are not controversial and they're not even polarizing. They're just
Yeah.
You know?
It's nothing. It's just here. It's like when they say, did you hear me or are you just listening to me? Or are you listening to me or did you just hear me? And what country music has become is it's become
music to hear.
You're not listening to music anymore. You're just hearing it.
Music to hear.
Music to hear. Music to hear for your ear.
Music to hear, and then a community that agrees with you.
Yeah. And it's just about, you know, like, let's just drink and be, again, I keep saying rapping, but we're gonna drink and do the spring break party thing until we're 62 and, you know, and spray tans and tan line or whatever the other thing is, tailgates and town lines. But it just becomes about that, and it just is like, dude, there's no authenticity there, man. How is that?
And I've got a truck now, dude, and that's one of the reasons why I think we felt like we needed to do this episode. And why I needed to have a rock star on set, because I want to make it clear that I'm not.
You're a bro.
I'm definitely more of a bro truck guy than a text truck guy, and my name is Justin. You know, so
you couldn't be more of a bro.
Your
name's not, you know, what's a
Colton.
That's a very baseball player, corn-fed.
That's a corn-fed sumbitch right there.
Colton, or even like a Chris maybe, or Christopher. But that's such a broad name. Everyone's named Chris. Like a Brad, but a Brad could also be your boy that you go to the lake with on your fucking dirt bike. So.
No, dude, I think I wanted to draw that line, but know that I do have a very special place in my heart for the older gen.
There's good in the genre. I'm gonna say that,
but there's also a lot of like some racist shit in the genre too.
Yeah,
like,
true. And can't have.
I don't fuck with any of that, dude. Like there's definitely some racist country artists that sing about some racist shit, like. Explicitly racist shit.
Yeah.
And I think that's
can't fuck with that.
Yeah, that's obviously not cool, and that's not at all what I'm talking about. I'm talking about like Johnny Cash saying that he's the man in black and wearing it for the poor and the beaten down, and wearing it for hopeless people who've never read, and and the word of Jesus, and for people who die at war for a war that we shouldn't even be in. You know, that's what I'm talking about.
And that's political.
And that is 100%. But
people didn't make it political.
Well, Johnny Cash was
at least
was
I
interesting. Was interesting politically. You know, like the thing was, it wasn't such a connection back then. Like, not everything was such a big deal.
They had different issues.
They had other shit going on, dude. And also too, there was a big respect for not talking about politics or religion in public. You know, that was a big deal. And Johnny Cash had a lot of sympathy for people who were in bad situations. And it just doesn't align super well with the Republican agenda a lot of times.
Yeah, well, and the other problem is too, to current music with it, or current country, is it's almost like they don't have any kind of issues, and we just live in this world, this now Amazon Prime, you know, ad skipping, you know, Netflix streaming world, 10-second video of comedy, you know, some fucking meme or a video of someone, you know, farting in a Coke. But didn't someone do that, like the Mentos thing? They're blowing it up their freaking face or something, and then they were like, dudes are ripping ass on. I don't know, man. There's weird shit on the internet's my point, and it's quick. So we got this world to where they just were like, well, we'll just keep pumping shit out. And if you got people that are fans of the genre and not fans of necessarily certain artists or certain songs, but again, it's what the radio plays. I mean, that's always a part of it, and that's kind of how it's been since. Like, I remember growing up, there's so many great songs that I just didn't hear until I was way older because we didn't have the access.
Well, the media controls the mind, and
True.
That's obvious. That's obvious from our news and our just the whole system.
Where we're at.
And
that's a quote from the freaking 60s.
That's a quote from Jim Morrison. And the media controls the mind. And it's true with music. You know, the more repetitions you hear of a song, the more likely it is that you're gonna like that song.
And labels too. I think country music could be saved if we get to the more independent side of music, to where everyone starts doing the Chance the Rapper route, but sticking with the music, but like doing
Kit Kat commercials on the side.
You're doing. But like having your own thing and not being a part of a network or a label that is trying to pin you as something that you're not.
Yeah.
It just allows you to be more mentally free.
Eric Church has some good songs, dude. Like Country Music Jesus.
Yeah.
And A Lot of Boot to Fill are two real good ones to visit.
Hear the frustrations.
Yeah, dude, like this is where we're coming from is those two songs, you know, and we just side with the church, man.
Yeah,
that's plain and simple.
And
dude.
Stapleton,
that aviator wearing, just fucking dope guy. Got to side with him, and I got to bow out of the dudes like Jason Aldean and Luke Bryan.
Yeah, on the Florida Georgia line, the Rascal Flatts, the Lady Antebellums,
the Pretenders, dude.
Yeah, can't have it.
So,
and if you were an OG and then became a pretender, we've seen your true colors, and we don't fuck with you anymore. So
I don't know, dude, about that. I'm still I'm still on the fence because like people like Blake, dude. Like I don't fuck with his new music, but I don't not fuck with him as a dude.
Yeah, but
I like Blake. I think I like Blake.
He seems cool.
He seems like a cool dude. He's married to Gwen. I like Gwen. Shay likes Gwen. Mom likes Gwen.
Yeah, no, I know. But you were saying earlier how you You didn't like him after the whole Miranda. Or was that
I
you
don't
talking
like
about
his
music?
music.
Okay, gotcha.
So that's why I'm saying.
I just thought you were going back. Yeah,
it's-
no, he seems like a cool dude.
Like personally though, he seems like a cool guy. I don't like it when dudes personally seem like they changed, like Luke Bryan
Yeah.
and whatever. Like
Yeah.
Blake Shelton
whoever.
to me sort of seems like Post Malone in the sense that like they know they're selling out and they're just doing it at
Because
this point. Like,
yeah,
there's
just doing it.
they're just doing it. But like Post Malone is so talented and he's got such powerful cultured influences that when I look at his career, I'm so confused by it because he obviously sold out. Like he wasn't
he said
even
it.
a rapper.
Yeah, he was in a metal band, and he's like,
dude.
they made Post Malone as a joke, or not Post Malone,
Iverson.
White Iverson as a joke.
Yeah, dude. So that's the definition of selling out. And I whatever. I don't listen to the music, but you
can respect him as a talent.
I appreciate the talent that they bring. And when they do stuff like they cover old songs or they do one of their old
Yeah, like he's doing that Nirvana cover.
Yeah, when Post was doing the Nirvana stuff, I was glued to that, dude.
Yeah.
If Blake did an old country song or one of his old songs when he had the mullet,
if he grew the mullet back
I'm
out,
hooked, dude. You sing Austin or fucking the other one, Old Red, then I'm hooked. But those other guys like Luke Bryan and Jason Aldean, they seem like they've changed as people too. Like
they do.
It seems like they've sold out to their core, which is different. Like there's a numbness,
and their core is okay with it.
Yeah, there's a numbness to how Blake and Post live their life. They're like, I feel bad that I've sold out. You can see it in their fucking eyes, dude.
Yeah.
I can see it. But when you look at Luke and Jason up there, dude, they're happy to be there. They're happy to be there and have sold out. And that makes me
And they got a smile on their face like they didn't sell out. They're looking at you like, I didn't sell out. What the fuck are you talking about?
Yep, that's my issue. And so
they're not being accountable for it.
Nope. Blake drinks himself to bed every night knowing
he sold out.
Knowing that he's
just
is
like
going to country music hell, dude. For making Honeybee. He's going
All right, guys.
All right. This has been a fun episode.
You guys have been great. Have a good night.
For those of you just
Phoenix, you've been great.
For those of you just tuning in, I'm Jay.
I'm Z.
And we are Jay-Z. Cheer.
Oh.
Oh.
It's gonna be awkward. I don't get it. You do the math.